What's going on, guys? Crypto Renegade here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about Mr. Wonderful and why is he spending billions on these NFTs. Let's get into it. But before I jump into the content, I just completely revamped my website, bitcoinlockup.com. There's some very exciting stuff coming, and you can always preview my newest videos there before they hit YouTube or any other platform. There will also be some bonus exclusive content coming that will not be made available anywhere else.
And here we go.
Welcome back. So in some of our last videos, we talked about some more Polkadot projects and their overall impacts on the crypto ecosystem. We've also covered Solana projects, Cosmos projects, and of course, even dug deeper into NFTs. Now today, I wanted to touch on Kevin OLeary, AKA Mr. Wonderful, and is he spending billions on NFTs? And maybe why he thinks this real world use case is when NFTs will actually explode. So if you've been watching my channel lately, I've been talking about what I call NFTs 2.0. Now, the current NFTs we are seeing sell for millions and millions of dollars, like Bored Apes on Solana and CryptoPunks on Ethereum, as essentially glorified JPEGs. Now, in my opinion, this was a very good proof of concept of what NFTs could actually do. A digital representation of an original item, piece of art, personal property, etc. Now, I've been saying in my videos with Altair and Centrifuge on Polkadot that there are projects that are trying to turn real-world assets into NFTs as a way to represent real-world items like deeds to houses, titles to cars, and so on and so forth. Imagine if a piece of property you own in the real world could be verified on the blockchain instead of using a title company or government resources or really any other third party to prove that you own a certain piece of property, either digitally or physically. This is a game changer that I predict will be shown to the world with not just stocks as STOs, but for mortgages, deeds, antiques, Lamborghinis, Air Jordans. It doesn't really matter. It's the concept that counts. Now, recently in an interview on Pomp's podcast, Anthony Pompliano interviewed Shark Tank's Kevin OLeary, aka Mr. Wonderful. Now, Pomp asked him what he thought about where the puck was going in terms of crypto, and surprisingly, Kevin answered his thoughts on NFTs. Watch this.
I'm really fascinated now by the different approaches on decentralized ledgers. And so I've got a lot of people on my team working on it. I think the NFT market is going to be absolutely huge, and I'm going to be a participant in it.
So now we know that he likes NFTs and will have some skin in the game. He's not buying CryptoPunks, he's not buying Bored Apes, or he's not buying any digital piece of art, at least so far. Now let's see what he said he's going to use his NFTs for.
And I'm thinking NFTs, not just on digital art. I'm thinking NFTs used to authenticate physical assets. The one I'm working on, because I'm a huge watch collector and I know all the world's largest collectors and the CEOs of all the watch companies, is authenticating secondary market watch trading. I don't know if you saw that article last week. I think it was put out by CNBC. $20 billion a year of trading in the watch asset class. And the biggest problem, let's say I want to buy a Patek Philippe that went off the market 17 years ago, which I'm doing right now, a piece celebrating their 75th anniversary. I have to send it to a guy named John Reardon in New York to get it authenticated to know that it's real. The hassle in doing that, the cost of doing that, moving it from the seller in Hong Kong to New York City in Bond, having John look at it, open it up, make sure it's real, close it, send it back to the seller so it's in his physical hands, then do the trade. I could avoid all that with a watch NFT. Once that watch was put on the market, Reardon would do an NFT to it, approve it, certify it, and for the rest of that watch's life, and every time it trades, you know it's real. And if we have to pay back a royalty to Patek Philippe, or whoever the maker is, or the designer of the dial, that's fine. You can all do that on smart contract.
Now, that's a lot to process, but very interesting nonetheless. This is a man who, if you remember, hated crypto 3 years ago and is now more open-minded than most mainstream millionaires and billionaires, in my opinion. I have to give him credit, as this is where I saw that NFTs were going. As soon as I saw how much volume there was in 2020 and even this year, 2021, now, what exactly happens when there is a real problem being solved and real liquidity from hedge funds, banks, and other large asset holders to help reduce their operating costs? This is also where stablecoins come in. It solves a lot of problems, not just for currency conversion, but for friction. Bank holdings and clearinghouses, extra hands mean extra costs. Now, as this relates to real-world asset NFTs and trading markets, here is what Kevin said in the same interview about where he sees stablecoins in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that. I'll tell you where I think it's going to manifest itself first, in the FX market. For example, I use this example all the time. I have a portfolio of over 50 names in Europe, large cap stocks trading in Zurich, in Europe, and in London. And so you got British pounds, you got euros, you got Swiss francs. Every time I put on the position, I have to go USD, I have to go through an FX desk, pay BIPs, convert to Swiss francs, buy the local market. When I sell the position, it goes in reverse. So I'm getting clipped, lots of basis points, a lot of friction there. I think when the regulators approve a payment system on the chain between a market like the Swiss market and the US market, that solves the problem forever. I mean, you're right, because when I buy that security, I'll buy it on a chain in a way that I don't have to go through multiple fiats. And I think that's going to happen within 5 years. And so you're right, people are going to be exposed to crypto and payment systems that'll represent 40, 50, 60, 70% of their net worth. They just won't think of it that way.
Now, in my opinion, he is right. There are even use cases we haven't even thought of yet. But these are the most obvious and glaring issues in our money markets now. Now, also, just because he's rich doesn't mean that the problems he's describing are only relevant to him. As overall costs go down for banks, institutions, and the like, so do the costs for you and me, the actual consumers of day-to-day transactions. When there is a cheaper, faster, and more efficient way to transfer money between people that is socially and legally accepted in all nation states, then all countries can then, and really only then, compete on the world stage for the race into Web3 and the future of how we transact. If you weren't a believer in NFTs before, do you see the real possibilities now? And then go ahead and click right here to watch my video on Remark, the top NFT platform on Kusama, in the top right corner. I will see you guys in that video right now. Crypto Renegade out.